HPR 274 presents Mad Science Workshop, and here with this week's show is your host, Kristi Nipp.
Hello and welcome to Mad Science Workshop. We are in for a treat today. The most exciting part of today is hopefully there will be some kind of explosion. So welcome to all my young scientists out there. The first thing that we're going to do is a balloon inflation trick. So I'm going to first pour about half a cup of vinegar into my very clean bottle. I've already washed my hands and I have on my safety goggles. Rule number 1. All right, so I've got about half a cup of vinegar in my clean bottle. What I've already done is I filled up a balloon halfway with baking soda. Vinegar is an acid and baking soda is a base, so what we're expecting is a chemical reaction when the two combine. So now that I've filled it up with the baking soda, I'm going to very carefully put the balloon on the rim of my bottle. This might be a little tricky, so just have a little perseverance. Be careful not to let the baking soda in until you're ready for the reaction. So as the chemicals combine, it's releasing a gas. The gas is filling up the balloon, and hopefully it won't pop the balloon, but it will continue to fill until it has released all the gas that it's prepared to release. Okay, so that was experiment number 1. By the way, fun fact, the gas inside here is carbon dioxide. So that is the same chemical that is being released by trees and when you breathe. So it is in the air all around us all the time. Okay, our next experiment is going to be what I call invisible ink. It's actually really, really simple. All we're going to do is squeeze out a little bit of lemon juice. You take a clean piece of white paper. With a Q-tip, you dip into the ink, or the juice, which is again an acid, and you can write on your paper. So whatever secret message you want to write and send to your friends, or if you don't want mom and dad to see, you can do that too. So let's say, have a, how about good show. Since we're on the air today, why not? So have a good show. As the acid dries, it will become invisible. So that's why we call it invisible ink. And then once the acid is exposed to a heat source, it will begin to reveal itself. So we'll heat it up a little bit and see how long this takes. Normally it doesn't take that long, but since, you know, we're on the air today, it might take a little longer. As it cooks in there, let's see, can you see it yet? All right, let me try and do a little more acid. Okay, have a little more. So the acid, like I said, it is weakening the paper fiber. Okay, so here we go. So what we're hoping for is for the acid to turn brown. Okay. Well, it didn't turn out that well today, but that's science for you. We have to go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Are you a new parent and can't find a way to make your baby stop crying? All new parents struggle with this. You need the baby translator. Put it on your baby's head, and real human language will be heard.
Oh, that's much better. Thanks, Daddy. I love you.
Thanks, baby translator.
Get your baby translator today.
Okay, welcome back. So we just tried our invisible ink and that didn't turn out so hot. So that's a good thing to know. Sometimes science experiments, they don't go the way you plan. So all you need to know now is where do we go from here? How did maybe the amount of lemon affect it? All kinds of stuff like that. You can also use white wine for you parents out there. Vinegar, orange juice, any kind of acid will work. So now what we're going to do is a trick that's actually called, or a science experiment called elephant toothpaste. So this is a new trick, or a new experiment that I heard about recently. What we're going to first do is have a bottle in a pan. This is going to be a little messy, so you want to make sure that, again, you have your goggles on. We need a bottle, a pan, and some peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is something that is kind of an everyday product that a lot of people don't think of as a chemical, but it actually is. Surprisingly, you can use it as a mouthwash, you can use it to treat burns and scratches, but today we're using it in an experiment. Okay, so we're going to pour with our funnel into our bottle. Add about that much should do of your peroxide. Let's see. Okay, so next, just to give it a little fun, we're going to add some food coloring. I'm going to go with blue. Okay, and then yeast is going to be our catalyst today. So in a bottle, we're going to add our yeast to the water. The water is supposed to be warm, so this might not turn out that great. But when the water is warm, the yeast activates. Yeast is a living organism. So once we give it the water, it begins to activate. Okay, now real fast, we'll add a little squirt of soap. Okay, our yeast, put that back in there. All right, so like I said, this is peroxide food coloring. We added a little bit of soap, and then the yeast, which I'm about to add, and we'll see how this reaction turns out. Normally, this would have a very large reaction. That's why it's called elephant toothpaste. This round, the water is not heated, so we're just going to test it out and see what happens. And there it goes. So this, my friends, is elephant toothpaste. That's why they call it that. We have an extreme reaction between the yeast as our catalyst and the peroxide. The two chemicals interact to basically explode. So that is our fun trick experiment, Okay, so we have two so far. Our first one turned out pretty good. This was our inflation experiment where we had the vinegar. And then we tried our invisible ink, which did not turn out so great, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. Our elephant toothpaste, I'll set right over here with Mr. Man. We may have time for maybe one more. So I'll go ahead and get started on it. It is going to be with pennies. So everyone knows that pennies are made of copper. Fun fact is that after 1982, we had a little bit of a change there. Sometimes that happens, but you know what? We'll save that for next time. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show today, and I will see you all